Indiana basketball loses to Penn State 85-71, and it's time to start asking ourselves, is the season over?
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. It is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you making Locked On Hoosiers your first listen each and every day. Today's bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by FanDuel. Happy Super Bowl to all who celebrate from FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. If you're like me, look, Super Bowl Sunday, getting together with your friends, getting together on the couch, having some drinks, having some snacks, and trying to win a little bit of money. FanDuel has so many ways to end the season with a W or 2 or 3. Not only can you bet on who will win the Super Bowl, but also FanDuel has bets for which players will score, how many points will be scored, and so much more. Right now, new customers join today, and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOn. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Indiana basketball hosted the Penn State Nittany Lions in a game that they shouldn't have lost, a game that you were supposed to win, a game that you needed to win, and yet you let a mediocre Penn State team without their best player come in and embarrass you once again in Assembly Hall. Penn State wins 85-71. We'll talk about that. We will also go over some stats, likes, and dislikes, like we always do on these post-game shows. But here's the big question. Is the season over? And I think it's time to start contemplating that question, because this was a situation, an opportunity for Indiana to put back-to-back wins together, right? Something that, let's be honest, they've struggled to do this season has Indiana. They had a chance coming off the win against Iowa. They had a chance to put back-to-back wins together. The first time that would have happened since the North Alabama and Kennesaw State back-to-back wins. You've yet to put them together since. And you beat Iowa 74-68. You're feeling good, right? You're at home. You got 2 home games against teams that are bottom part of the Big Ten. An opportunity to win some games before you go on the road to Ohio State. Build that momentum. Try to get that winning streak started. And no, you play like crap. You come in and you start slow. Then you get an 11-point lead with around 5 minutes to play in the first half. And then from there on out, you come out and play horrible basketball. And shocker, Penn State came out asleep, lazy, unmotivated in the second half like they have done all year long under Mike Woodson. It is extremely frustrating. Right, Clary didn't play for Penn State. Xavier Johnson didn't play for Indiana. It was great to see Kel'el Ware play today. It was great to see Malik Reneau play today. But guess what? That didn't matter. Penn State's best player, who was 50-50 to play, I think, did not play, and yet you still give up 85 points on your home floor to a Penn State team. And let me say this, I was wrong. I was completely wrong in saying let Penn State shoot, because going into this game, they were a 30% three-point shooting team on the season. 30%. Well, here's what Indiana let them do today. Penn State shot 55% from behind the arc. They shot 57% from the floor, 55% from behind the arc. That is 12 of 22. Yeah, that's what Penn State did today. Indiana shot 48% from the floor. Of course, they pound the paint pretty heavily. They hit 5 threes, shot 19 of them. I don't hate it. Free throws, you won that battle. Turnovers, you didn't win that battle. Indiana had 13. Penn State only had 6. If you remember, that's something that I was really, really big on yesterday, was Indiana's got to force some turnovers, make a bad team uncomfortable on the road. And Penn State was confident the entire time. And Indiana let them do that, let them play that way, and they took advantage of it. You look at total rebounds, Indiana won the rebounding battle. I said they had to. They did, but didn't really bring a whole lot. It was the three-point shooting. That's the biggest difference here. They hit more threes than you, 12-5. And Indiana played lazy basketball. They played unmotivated basketball. And it's games like this that good teams win. Even mediocre teams win. So where does that put Indiana, right? Where does that put us right now after you lose this game to a non-tournament team in Penn State? A mediocre Penn State team without their best player, man. It's these games that get us extremely frustrated, annoyed. These are the games that you get booed for at Assembly Hall, which is exactly what happened today. Is the season over? No, I don't think so. Personally, I don't. I think there are still opportunities here in this season, but what gives us the confidence to say that we're going to go on the road and beat Ohio State this week? What gives us the confidence to think we're going to go on the road and beat Purdue this week? What gives us the confidence that we're going to beat Northwestern and at Penn State and Wisconsin and Michigan State? Those games you have to have now to try and make the NCAA tournament. I don't have that confidence anymore. I don't. And it's games like this that if you just come in and do your job, if you come in and play the way you're supposed to play, you win it easily. You're the much more talented team here. You're the better team here. You are not the better coach team. I will 100% die on that hill. That was a very well-coached Penn State team that played here today. And Indiana's not. Indiana's a poorly coached team. And guess what? That falls on one man. That falls on Mike Woodson, who we've all had our ups and downs with this year, a lot more downs than ups. And as we move into likes and dislikes, that's where I begin. I am disliking, I'm hating how he's coaching this team. How do you go into the locker room with the win, with the lead, I should say? You won the first half. How do you come out just completely dead in the second half? And this is not the first time it's happened. That's what makes this really, really infuriating, is this seems to be an every game occurrence. Whether you're winning, tied, or losing, Indiana comes out and just, here we go, second half, hope it works out. We'll just see how it goes. There's no urgency to go out and win the basketball game, and that's extremely frustrating and disappointing to watch with this team. Huge dislike there. Look, I think Penn State, I dislike it. I think they were just hot today, man. And look, Indiana gave them looks, sure, but Penn State knocked down some really tough shots in that first half. Indiana gave them shots, they knocked them down. Guess what? That's what teams do. That's how you win on the road. That's how you get back-to-back road wins, which is what Penn State has right now. So I think Penn State just played really well. They played confident. They had a game plan. They executed it, and they hung 85 on Indiana on the road in the Big Ten. Some things that I liked, not a whole lot, I guess. Kel'el Ware had a great game, 25 points, 8 for 12, 8 of 8 at the free throw line. Talk about that. That's really, really good. And had 11 rebounds, another double-double for him. Played almost every minute in this game. So I really liked that from Kel'el Ware. It was good to see Malik Reneau play in this game, right? He had 16 points, 6 of 10 from the floor, 4 or 5 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds. He did foul out there at the end of the game, but it was over by that point. And so when you look at it that way, you're like, all right, your two best players, Kel'el Ware and Malik Reneau, give you 25 and 16. You score 71. You think Indiana would have a chance to win. But it's all the defensive problems. It's the defensive issues giving up 85 points. We talk about this a lot. Indiana can't get in a scoring run with anybody. They can't get in a shootout with anybody. And when Penn State started knocking down threes, it was over. So that's the biggest dislike here, is the defensive efforts. Offense was fine. They made shots, 25 of 52, and you knocked down 5 threes. That's about as good as we can ask for on any given day for this Indiana squad. But defensively, they're lazy. They're lazy, and they just don't have the IQ, it seems like, to do what they're supposed to do. I'm not saying they're not smart people. I'm not saying they're not smart players. They just don't know how to play proper defense. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to rotate. They don't know how to step up and close out properly. Quit fouling three-point shooters, man. They just don't know how to properly play defense. And the longer the possession goes, the worse Indiana gets on that end of the floor. And I think teams know that. I think they've started to pick up on that, and they're like, all right, if we keep moving the ball around here, eventually Indiana's just going to give up. They're going to break down, and we're going to have an open shot, an open lane, an open pass. Something is going to be there, and that's exactly what happens here. And Penn State absolutely took advantage of it. 17 assists on 31 made shots, and Penn State just beat you. I mean, they just were playing better and were the better team today. And without their leading scorer, who scores 18 points a game, it didn't matter. You give up 22 to Baldwin Jr. He played well. You give up 19 to Hicks, 14 to Wahab. You give 10 to Dunn. I mean, 14 to Brown. I mean, what else do you want here? Your bench points, non-existent for Indiana. The only guy outside of your starters of Ware, Cups, Reneau, and Baco and Galloway, you got 3 total points from CJ Gunn. Good job, guys. Good job, Indiana. Way to have that next man up mentality that I had a show on yesterday. That didn't happen. Just frustrating. And you can hear it in me. I know you're frustrated. I'm tired of us being like this. I'm tired of it being so inconsistent with our team. And the season very well could be over. It's not, because there are still opportunities, but how do you bounce back from this? I don't know. You tell me, because I don't know. If you play like this, then you may not win another game. But if you pick up yourself and win a couple of those big games, then you have a chance. But I have no confidence in that right now. None whatsoever. And I'm sure you feel the same way. Let me know down low. If you're on YouTube in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Look, I know it's dark times right now. I'm still having fun. I'm still enjoying being with you here each and every day on Locked On Hoosiers. So thank you so much for being here on YouTube, on audio, wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available. So be sure you subscribe, turn on notifications. We'll be back on Monday, trying to break all this down a little bit more, kind of get into a new week. It's a big week. 2 road games for this Hoosiers team. And man, I don't know anymore. You would think I wouldn't be surprised or shocked anymore, and it wouldn't get to me as much as it does. But man, we've got to figure this out. We've got to figure something out. And if they don't do it fast, then yeah, you better believe that the season's over, and it's going to be a long off season here in Bloomington. So Hoosier fans, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here on Locked On Hoosiers. We will be back on Monday for another episode of Locked On Hoosiers. Thanks for tuning in on this bonus episode of Locked On Hoosiers. So until Monday, Hoosier fans, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.